and then we'll come back for a second segment and I'll show you how I actually put this low country boil together.
Y'all, here we are. We're about to season these bones, honey. We're about to get them seasoned. And then I'll tell you what I'll do next, but here's just a few simple seasonings. Remember, this is for a low country boil. And I know the camera is shaking just a bit. It'll settle down. This is because I have it on a flexed rod that angles down for you to be able to see it. But this is one of my favorite seasonings, you all. This is Morton Nature Seasoning. A lot of the same ingredients that I put in ooey are in here. Not all of them, of course, but just because this is like natural, more or less herbs than salt, you have ingredients like black pepper, spices, onion flavor, garlic flavor, parsley, and my favorite thing out of here is the celery seed. The celery seed in here really gives an earthy flavor. And I watch a lot of cooking shows, I watch a lot of tutorials, and I don't see people use celery seed or celery salt a lot. But celery seed and celery salt really gives your, especially like chicken dishes or your broths or your salads, like tuna salad, chicken salad. So catch this crumb. Celery seed and celery salt really gives those type of dishes it just makes it taste fresher. Sort of like what parsley does for dishes. It just really gives it that herbaceous flavor. So that's mainly why I use this, so I don't have to buy celery seeds separately. But of course, and if you haven't already invested, I'm telling you, you need to do so. Your ooey kg, it's taking a while to focus because there are other things behind here. But your ooey kg, season it all, is our handmade artisan seasoning, in-house. You can get these for 2 for $16. Okay, just text us at 214-444-5339, or you can look on our website, which I'll have linked down in the description box. Get you some ooey. Now I really should start marketing this more as a flavor enhancer. It is a great seasoning, but because you can hardly over salt and over season with these, people use so much of it. They just use it, and you can't oversalt with it because there's not much salt content in this, the ooey kg. So it's more like a flavor enhancer, okay? Anyway, so I'm gonna use a little cayenne pepper for a kick, and then to bring the earthy flavor in, the freshness again, parsley. Okay, so that's what we're using. I'm just gonna slide on around to show y'all how we get started. And I always start with my seasonings that have the salt content. I always start with it first because I don't want to overdo it. I want to be able to actually see my meat. Kitchen Principality, if I have seasoning with salt in it, I want to be able to see how it looks on this meat so that it can help me judge whether I use too much or not enough. So I start with the element that has the most salt content first. But I'm going in with this Lawry's. There is salt in this, but it is mostly herb, garlic powder, and onion powder. My mom cooks with a lot of garlic powder and onion powder. I don't have to, I don't have to buy that as much because we have this, it has that celery element to it, and you're just not gonna find it in a lot of seasonings. Okay, and then celery salt, the difference in celery salt and celery seed. Celery salt, I had started purchasing it at one point, but it is so easy to over season because every celery salt I found is just really salty. So you have to be careful with it. You know, you want to give it that celery flavor, but you don't want it to be overly salty. And I just found that you have to really, really proceed with caution when it comes to that celery salt. So I stay away from that. Morton's, I keep saying Lawry's, excuse me if I misspoke, but that Morton's Nature Seasoning does the trick. Okay, and now we're going to go in with our wheat. It is dry, so you don't have to worry about it spoiling or anything like that. So as you can see, I'm seasoning this pretty heavy with that ooey KG. That is your magic dust, honey. Okay? All you have to do is try it one time, and you will see what I mean. You may have your own concoction, so that's not to say that it's what you use is not good. But if you're a person that has issues with incorporating seasoning and flavor, then I'm telling you, the ooey is going to do the trick. Now we're going in with our cayenne pepper. Okay. Now I know these turkey necks are ultimately going to go into a broth. So I'm not worried about it being too hot. I'm not putting as much on here as I would if I were frying these or grilling these, because they're going to be cooked in broth. I do want them to have that kick, and this brand of cayenne I'm using is not super hot at all. Okay? Trust me, honey. Go in and move around just a little bit. We have a little water at the bottom of the pan, and that's okay. You know we're not dealing with a lot of blood because we clean these necks, honey. I had a 2-stage cleaning preparation, which I have already shared with you. Okay, so let's get these necks rolling. Okay, just move them around a bit to get them covered. We have parsley. And a lot of people think parsley is just for color. I've seen people make jokes like parsley doesn't go on everything. And no, it does go on everything, but actually parsley does actually give food a flavor. So you use it as a flavor enhancer. It is a herb, whether you're using it in dry or fresh form. So when you're not just doing it as to add food glitter, as people like to call it. Some things really do taste better. Your soups, your salads, they really do taste better when you add parsley for flavor. We love that earthiness. I mean, when you can give an earthy flavor to food, the right food, then it just adds to its richness. It just gives it depth, right? You want your palate to sing and say, "Ooh, wait, what's that?" When you bite into food. So you have to know how to use different seasonings, y'all. You have to know what it's going to do in terms of enhancing the flavor profile. That's the type of information that I'm here to offer up and share. Okay? Not that I know it all, but I can assure you what I do know. I share, and I know exactly what I'm talking about. I would never talk something that I don't know. Okay? So see that? Beautiful, as my Aunt Shirley would say. So there you have it, y'all. We got these necks ready to roll. They are ready to roll. Okay? So what we're going to do next is we're actually going to, in a low country boil, normally you will throw everything in a crock pot, or the things that are going to take the longest to cook, like your meats, you will put in a crock pot, and then later on you will add things like your potatoes, later on you add your corn. You layer in the ingredients based on the cook time for each ingredient. Of course, your meat is always going to take the longest, so you start out with your meat. What I'm going to do, because I don't even have my stock pot, I would probably normally prepare these in my big tamale pot, but I don't have it with me. But even if I did, I think I would still choose to put these in the oven.
The reason why I'm going to put them in the oven is because sometimes a stock pot, because they're so thin, unless you have a really, really heavy thermal stock pot, it just seems to me that, you know, you can boil something forever and it doesn't really do much for tenderizing the meat because stock pots aren't really thermal. Stock pots are called stock pots just for that reason. It's mainly used to create a stock, which is boiling, you know, cooking a liquid. It's not built to tenderize and hold pressure in and hold in heat, all of the things that will make your meat taste more flavorful and make your meat more tender. A stock pot is not built for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replicate that same cooking principle by putting them in the oven. As you can see, I have plenty of room here in this aluminum roaster, and I don't have them piled on top of each other. I can pretty much put them in one even layer, and they're able to cook evenly that way. I'm going to cover it really tightly, really securely with foil, and I'm going to make sure, that's why I'm glad and I don't mind that water being at the bottom of this pan, because I want them to kind of steam. I don't want them to bake and get, you know, for the meat to firm up like it would if I were baking the turkey necks. I want them to steam, so I'll probably add even more liquid. As a matter of fact, what I've done is, and I'm going to show you in just a sec, I've started on a homemade chicken broth, and I'm basically going to put these in the oven, cooking them inside the chicken broth. So by the time I pour the homemade flavorful chicken broth that's been made from chicken bones and chicken skin, all that flavor that has rendered from that broth, I'm going to pour some of that over these necks and cover it tightly, put it in the oven, and so it's in a pot that was thermal. Okay, that's what I'm going to do to get these started. We're only going to par cook them. I don't want to rush them. You know, you have to be careful with turkey because you could dry them out, but and I don't want to do that, and I also don't want to rush them because when you rush them, then you don't have a lot of flavor in the meat. The flavor doesn't have the opportunity to sink down to the bone. So I don't want to rush these, so I'm going to par cook them today, let them cool completely, refrigerate them, and then on the day prior to them being served, I'm going to put all of the ingredients together to create that low country boil and let it all cook together, honey. Okay, we're gonna have that corn, we're gonna have that potato, we're gonna have them sausages, and we're gonna have them scrimps is what we're gonna have. Okay, I'm telling you, it might look a little gruesome now, but hey, that's why people pay me to do the hard work, right? But baby, when it's time to eat, it's gonna be time to eat. All right, y'all, so here is our broth. Just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of how rich and beautiful this broth is. You see the color of it? And as I stated earlier, you know, I keep the skin, the bones, everything. The bits of meat is coming off, but I boil it all because you have flavor that actually comes from that skin. And what I'll do is I'll drain this broth off of these bones and throw the bone, the skin, and all that out, and I'm just going to keep behind this beautiful broth. So when y'all have your turkey bones or chicken bones and things like that, I mean, it's just a matter of putting it on the stove. It seems like it's hard to do, but once you freeze your chicken or your turkey bits in a Ziploc bag, write what it is, write, you know, bones for broth and the date, the month and year on the bag, freeze it, and then when you get ready for a stock, like how I need a stock today, this homemade broth is going to add so much more flavor to that low country boil than had I just used broth from a box or a can. Okay, so that's what simple down home cooking is all about. It's simple ingredients, but the love is in the preparation. The love is in the time that you take to actually prepare. So this is my broth, y'all. Okay, so when we come back for the second segment, you will get to see how we put all of this together.
y'all. The necks are done rolling for the day. We got a little more rolling to do tomorrow and the next day. But hey, you know we do these things in stages because there's levels and layers to this. Oh yes, oh yes. Layers and levels, honey. You ready to catch this crumbs? Are you ready to catch this crumbs? Cause baby, I'm ready to give it to you. See, I got on there real tight, so you have to be careful with this thing. And y'all, it was challenging even getting this big heavy pan out of the oven. Let me turn this camera landscape and ooh, wee, KG, honey, what are we doing? What are we doing here? So now the necks have been rolling and they are partially cooked. Oh yes. We've made even more beautiful broth. Homemade, and then the rest of the broth that has rendered from the necks. Yes, 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 yes. So here we are. Just wanted y'all to see it. So now we have to wait at least 2 hours, maybe 3. I need to transfer these to a different container so that they can start to cool, because we need them to cool down completely before we refrigerate them. So now the necks are 2 stages of clean and ready for the boil. All right, we'll be back. Make sure y'all come back to Kisha's Crumbs. Layers and levels, honey. Talk to y'all later. See y'all soon. Thank you for tuning in to Kisha's Crumbs. Tomorrow, you'll see us assemble it. See you soon.